All right, welcome to the 2019 Regional Playoffs podcast here in Golden Stick, New York. We're coming to you live from the Long Island Podcast Studios, courtesy of producer Joe Busker Jr. in the back.
Hey, boy, Joe.
We've got Phil Fresiello here from the Hammerheads. We've got Anthony Caputo here from the Lot.
How we doing?
And we've got fellow regional director and captain of the Hammerheads, Rob Longiaru. And I'm Anthony Dioria. I'm on the players. Who finished in fourth place? Rob's team with Phil finished in third, and the Lot finished in seventh. And we'll go through plenty of everybody else's standings today. I just want to go around the table real quick. Everyone to say a few words. And welcome to the podcast. The first time we're doing this, so we're going to try to have a lot of fun. We're going to break down the matchups for this weekend. And Phil, how you feel about being here?
I'm really excited. I'm ready to go. We got a lot to talk about, and it should be a fun weekend.
Excellent. That's great. What about you, Anthony? How you feel about this?
I second those exact sentiments. Excited about the podcast, first ever, and let's do it.
Well, Rob, do you third these sentiments?
I would third the sentiments. I'd also say it's nice to not be in a garage for everyone.
Also,
So I agree.
Although I like my garage, it's a fine regional office, but this upgrade suits the bill for this region this year.
I agree. This is a good-looking studio. Much better and much more temperature controlled than the garage.
Sure.
It's definitely not as hot.
not as muggy.
No, and not bug infested.
Zero smoke.
Very good. All right, so like mentioned earlier, this Sunday we have our regional playoffs of the New York region. 12 teams are going to play in the main bracket. We have 4 to 5 teams possibly playing the Comeback Cup. We haven't finalized that yet. But today we're really going to focus on the top 12 that are playing this Sunday. We're going to go through each of the teams, talk about their season. We're going to go through the matchups. We're going to talk about some odds. We're going to bring in the numbers guy, talk about some stats, some standings, some leading some numbers leaders, and then Rob and I will try not to talk too much smack about, all the other teams. All right. So, all right, let's get started. What's our first matchup, Phil?
Jump right in.
Let's get right into it.
Number 5 Screwballs against number 12 DEK.
Wow. So we've got I want to say middle age, but we've got some older statesmen in the Screwballs coming from Long Island against DEK, also a collection of veterans. Rob, what do you think about this matchup off the top of your head?
I would first note that Nick Tulo will not be there this week. They will be playing as a 3 to 4 man. I think they lose one of their better bats, one of their better arms.
Quality arm.
The Screwballs, they're the Screwballs. It hasn't changed in, I think, 8 years they've been here with us, and they could be good one week, not so good the next, but if you give them a challenge in a tight spot, they're probably going to best you more times than not. I give the edge to the Screwballs, but I expect it to be a very tight game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the Screwballs really are scrappy, and they've been playing whist for years, so longer than some of the kids that'll be playing on Sunday. I mean, they bring a lot of veteran leadership, and they pick each other up, but they also put each other down in a comical way that also brings them back up. So they're definitely a challenger to win on Sunday. From a numbers perspective, Anthony, who do you think has the edge in this matchup?
That would be tough, especially with Chach on one side and Vinny on the other. Chach batting .506 on the year, which you could actually consider that a down year to him because the guy bats .560 in his sleep.
He's a beast.
He did not win the batting title for the first time in a long time.
He made it close, though. He made it close
He
last
made a
week.
big comeback the last week.
Vin still had a strong year, though. He batted .435, 520 OBP. The guy is just a beast all the time. Doc still pitching like the ace that he is. So, it's really tough to say.
Who do you think starts that game? Because remember, so we'll get into it a little bit later, but the format for the playoffs is the first round is 7 inning golden games, which means you have to pitch 2 different guys, 4 innings and 3 innings.
I'd be starting Doc.
I would.
He's the wild card.
I would
If
start Doc as well.
Pitches well, he's not going to get hit.
I agree.
He's
But then,
very effective.
Then you got to finish with Vin. I think sometimes
Yeah, but that could help them because his stuff is so different from Doc's. It's just
no doubt. But he gets into a tight game situation. He is the guy throwing a very slow speed. And
So would you think that maybe starting Venus might be a better decision? Because then you kind of come in, first game of the day, all you've seen is a bunch of junk, a bunch of knuckleballs, and then he gets through 3, maybe 4 if he pitches well, and then all of a sudden Doc comes in and just lights out with
That
his
could be true,
knuckleball
too.
and his nasty stuff.
You can make an argument for both. Start with the lefty, slower, start them off slow, and then bring in Doc.
they feast on
There's a different look.
knuckleballs, not the
And
screwballs.
hopefully you bank on an early lead with your bats.
I always think in a situation when you're playing a golden game, a lot of times you start the 2 because if you get lucky and he pitches well, you can maybe squeeze another inning out of him, which saves your ace. Maybe not necessarily for later, but gives you less looks in a tight game. I mean, you got to win the game. So a lot of times it is what it is. What their issue is, they don't have any backup. The kids aren't going to be pitching. So if they do get into trouble, the Screwballs do have 3 arms. At least can piece it together. If someone gets knocked out after 2, someone can still go an inning or 2 to get Johnny out
That's
there.
all can pitch.
where the loss of Nifman really hurts, because the Screwballs, like I said, they're so adept at hitting knocks and just play the ball the other way all game.
Yeah, I mean, he also led the team in homers at 360. Nifman, slugged them 600. He had a really good, good year for that. He's certainly a lightning rod type player.
But you got to go to WrestleMania, SummerSlam when you have the chance.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, where is SummerSlam that he's going?
Toronto.
Oh, okay.
The odds have the Screwballs at 165, so minus 165. Yeah.
Screwballs favored, minus
Yes.
165.
And the winner of that match.
That's a tough one.
Where did the winner of that match go?
That's the 5-12, so the winner playoffs, the players.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is, again, I think...
important series.
I feel like whoever
Yeah,
wins that,
important
I mean, not that I'm trying to take the high road here, but the winner of that against us, I mean, it's a toss-up. We face each other a million times.
Sure.
So, I mean,
That's an
these
exciting
Screwballs have
couple
had
of
our...
They're thinking that's a cushy matchup.
Yeah, well,
I'll speak for
I mean,
them.
Not
you
against
guys
the
talk so
Screwballs.
much smack about our strength of schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the standings and 10-run rule is 100 points, 1-4 super qualifiers, it's the race of who doesn't want. How do you avoid 10-run rule? And the bracket is what it is. You see your road, but the other side is just as difficult throughout.
We are on the 10-run rule side, which is gonna, well, you know what, we got to get there, right? I mean, if I'm looking at a 10-run rule semifinal matchup, I'm pretty happy that I got through a round, so can't complain about that. All right, so picks. Who you got, Rob? Screwballs, Dead End Kids tonight, this Sunday.
Let's see. I have Screwballs taking it down in a pretty low-scoring game, I think, for a 7-inning game. I think it might be like a 5-3 game
Okay.
over that span of innings.
Caputo.
I'm leaning
I'm gonna write these
Screwballs.
down so we can make sure we talk smack about how much you're wrong.
This is no slight, of course, to any teams that I do not pick to win. But I will,
Even though everyone will take it that way.
of course. I will lean Screwballs in an also tight game, maybe 6-4.
Okay. 5-3, 6-4.
Rob's score was interesting because I
Phil,
had
what do
the
you think?
over-under at like 8.5.
Wow.
That's
fair.
But I thought it was going to be low scoring too.
But I feel like, again, though, you got to take into consideration we haven't played golden games really all year.
Right.
So that endurance of a 7-game, one game that is 7 innings, it takes a long time. Mentally, you got to stay into a 7 innings.
I think having the kids involved in their first playoff is a little tough for them.
It's tough to turn over the lineup.
That's
when
very
you have,
true.
you know,
And the Screwballs slap the ball all over the place.
Yeah, but OC's played in really big games.
No,
all
he's
year.
He's played really good.
No,
he has.
Not at all.
He's young. You can't
I have the
can't expect a
Screwballs
lot.
too, but it's going to be really close. The Nifman not being there really hurts them. Like you said, it's an extra arm that you can't go to now in a sticky situation.
That's
so
tough.
if Nifman was there, I think the odds would have been totally different. But I have the Screwballs.
Score?
7-5.
Wow, we're just keeping with this two-run.
Phil taking the over.
Yeah,
So
over.
5-3, 6-4, 7-5. So should I just make it Screwballs 8-6 at this
I
point?
never saw. I never saw an over. I
No,
didn't
you got to
like.
be the.
I mean, it's hard for me to pick against Doc and Venus, but it's also hard for me to pick against
It is really
three
hard.
Italian men.
It's so hard to pick against Doc and
To the
Vegas.
contrary, like if you're going to take DK, like if they're going to win a game and do anything, it's going to be that game, and then that might be it for them. So like they might put all their balls into one basket and maybe can get through that one game
Yeah.
with the kids, get them that experience that they need. These games are always toss-ups.
Well, I hate to be so diplomatic, but you could not be surprised by any score of any game.
Agreed.
It's
So
yard.
this is the year of parity.
All right, so Phil takes the Screwballs 7-5. I'm going to take the Screwballs as well, I guess, 7-4.
Wow, clean.
I'll combine. Yeah, well, now they have Baltimore material for DK, so you never know.
Well, this whole segment's Baltimore.
We actually have another podcast tomorrow where we're going to totally change everything we did come up with. It's going to be tomorrow around 8
Well,
p.m.
Nifman or not, DK was 15-20 on the year. Screwballs 25-22. And no matter how you slice it, you're taking the Screwballs tight
Wow.
game or not.
Not sure DK did squeak into the playoffs as the 12th seed. All right, so
Thanks to the lot. Well, they won 2 games against a game changer.
Well,
It's huge.
Falcon almost spent about $2,000 just trying to get his team into regionals
that guy's got Pash. We'll talk about that.
to play the Screwballs.
We
too,
will
and
get to that.
everything.
Too.
All right, we'll go to the next matchup here. We've got a couple of, I wouldn't say new teams in the league, but definitely they were in their infancy of Golden Stick still. We have the 6 seed Bronx Royals, and we have the 11 seed Storm, also from the Bronx. These guys used to play against each other in Palisades. Palisades Wiffle Ball League, and now they brought that rivalry right here to Golden Stick, and I think it's a healthy rivalry. I wouldn't say they don't like each other, but I would say that the older veteran guys on the Bronx Royals definitely
Battle of the Bronx.
yeah, Battle of the Bronx, but they really want to stick it to the young kids of the Storm, and the Storm to these young up and coming kids, anywhere between 18 and 25 years of age on this team. They're young guys, they're fiery, they want to beat the Bronx Royals on a big stage, and the best part about this Golden Game format and the 7-inning game, really anything can happen, and I don't know, I like Storm's chances a little bit in this game. What do you think, Rob?
This is the matchup I think most people are interested in. Storm had unbelievable season by their standards. They're probably their first season above 500, probably their first season anywhere close. I mean, they've played for 3, 4, almost 5 years. I mean, correct me. It's at least 3 years they've been in the league, probably 4. To some capacity, and they've only gotten better each year. Sammy and Mike, they've played Palisades for years. They understand the game like anyone, and it's great that they've kept it in-house. Adding Ryan Patron this year has been huge. Goal Rookie of the Year. Just want to remind everyone who's interested in fall ball, that's the minor league system right now.
Hot take, I think Ryan Patron could be Rookie of the Year in the summer this year, to be honest, the way he's played.
No doubt.
Finlay.
We'll talk to that later.
Maybe.
Talk about that later.
Jake.
I want to add a few things to that too. The fact that they've, had some big wins this year. The fact that they've Storm, that is, they beat the enemy. They've made it to a Final Four. So they've shown they can play with some good teams. But
Didn't Jake play last year on the Crusaders?
I'm not talking about Jake. I'm talking about Storm.
No, that's what Rob
subbed
said.
the couple
Jake
times.
Baddick.
Yeah.
I think he was their friend as well. Yeah.
We'll
No,
discuss
they found
awards
him in
later.
Palisades Minors.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay. All right, and then, but back to Storm,
Sorry.
They've also overcome Sammy Perez's injury from the first week of the year when he got hurt diving over a wall, but he's been fine. But just to be able to, that team coming together, I like their chances. I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
Royals minus 150.
Wow,
That's what
that's
the
all
odds
he has to
say.
say is Royals minus
That's
150.
what Vegas says.
That's what Vegas says.
The Royals
You
have.
can say Atlantic City now, too.
Atlantic City,
Say Atlantic
yeah,
City.
that's
You don't have to always say what Vegas says.
true.
Oh, jeez.
That's true.
Maybe that's what
I didn't
G58
say he
says.
did, but
Where's Mr. AC? If he's not here when I'm talking.
Thankfully, he's not here.
That's fair.
I feel like there's just so much about this matchup that we don't know about because we never really. I didn't play in Palisades. You guys did for a little bit, but I never really watched them face each other in Palisades. So I don't know how far back this rivalry goes. How much maybe there's some deep-rooted Cazada Pace rivalry kind of stuff going on. I don't know.
No, not really. Actually, Patron came from Palisades as well, and correct me if I'm wrong. He may have played with the Bronx Royals at some point.
They did.
They used him. He played goal this past year. He lives on Long Island, and for years I've said, you should be playing here, along with Palisades, because he was always, just kind of a floater player, not always there. So now he's committed, and he's here most of the time. The guy had 419.
It's really good.
He
It's really good
won
for your first time of the year.
5 games as a rookie against very strong teams. I saw a video the other day, or I think Mike Cazada posted, of him throwing a nasty knock. I haven't faced Storm all year. It's the only team they haven't faced. So I believe the winner of this matchup does play the Hammerheads, so I will recuse myself from any predictions.
Oh, I didn't recuse myself from any predictions from the Screwball DEA.
Yeah,
That's
outrageous.
That's a
No, that's
you problem.
ridiculous.
I'm going to go with the Royals just because they have so many players that have been there before. So
Well, I
not
was
that the
there.
Storm hasn't,
Well, I
but
wanna-
not in.
No pace this week.
I want to.
No, wait a minute.
pace.
You didn't tell us that.
Sorry.
Yeah, again, this guy's not. He's just not
That's so
disseminating
big.
information.
Hey.
So
How have nobody?
wait a minute. Who's their second pitcher? Vin, and then who?
Vin, Pace.
No, Pace
Bumpy.
isn't there.
Oh, no. I'm right. Sorry. So their roster this week should be Vin, Bumpy,
Nick.
Nick Freddie.
Freddie.
I think that they're playing as a 3-man.
How many guys do they have?
They have.
No, they cut Gray. They had to cut Gray.
I'm so
And they cut
confused.
Nick. And they cut Nick, I believe.
They cut-
since he's not. He's not.
Oh,
here
so Nick's out of the
Their
equation.
5-man roster is Vin, Bumpy, Pace.
So the cutting.
I don't know.
No, I got
Nick
it.
and Freddie.
I have
Mike
had
Gray
nothing
is
to
out
do
of the
with
equation.
this
The
roster all
cutting
year, to be honest with you.
of Freddie ended up being the cutting of Gray.
Correct.
Okay, got
Correct.
it.
Yes.
That's originally what it was going to be.
So
So Pace couldn't come this week, and they're like, well, Freddie and
So it's going to be Vin and Freddie probably
Vin, Freddie, yeah.
to pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the Royals.
Well, as
It's
long
going to
as
be really close.
Well, I think so. Vin's a guy that apparently people talked about being coming a little hot out of the arm. So maybe he's got to watch that speed a little
no
bit.
different out of Mr. Freddie.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So then
And
Bronx
no
Royals is going
different
to be on that game.
No different from Mr. Patron as well. I've heard the same. So
I heard Chris was throwing heat. I heard Chris was throwing heat. I heard
yeah,
Shelkoff
I'm
was
sure he
throwing
was. I
heat.
bet he was.
I didn't even know he pitched. To be honest,
An unnamed person.
he can throw.
An unnamed person had him throwing like 80.
well, unnamed because you just heard it, or unnamed?
No, I don't want to name the person.
I need to know your sources.
Well, another hot take. We may have acquired a device.
For judging speeds. I think the Royals in a really close
I
game.
didn't know we were going to bring that up. I thought we were going to just show that
that's
up. We were going to show up Sunday and be like, hey, here's our nice new
Bumpy is a
equipment.
I
really
didn't say
good
anything.
hitter, so I'm going to go with the good hitter. I'm going to go with the good clutch hitter and Bumpy in a close and late.
I'm going to go with Storm.
And
I'm going to go with Storm.
Before my pick, I would also like to point out that the Storm went 4-18 last year.
Wow, that's a very good
what a
point.
turnaround. Well,
I guess they are the most
The adding of
improved team, right?
Patron and
Well, what's
just,
their record this year?
16 and 15.
Wow, that's a 12-win improvement. And
It's easily the best.
over 500.
Yeah.
Wow.
they added another player.
Them and
that was
the
played
game
really well.
changers made basically the big sleeps.
Yeah, the game changers
Game
definitely.
changers are having actual players and
But,
exciting.
I'm gonna have to go with the Storm because Patron is just on another level, and I think Quezada is coming into his
I don't know what they're. I mean, there's been weeks where Patron isn't there. He only has.
Well, I'm going to go on the
he's
record
got
and say
26 games. I think he only missed 1 week.
I want to go on the record and say I'm rooting for Storm in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to see these kids win.
I'm a Sammy Perez guy.
Yeah, I mean they're a
So,
likable team. Not that the Bronx Royals aren't likable, really.
No, of course
We
not.
don't know who's showing up half the
I
weeks.
agree.
So
No,
the Storm
but
are a very likable bunch of guys.
You just can't root against the Storm.
Pace
So-
not being there is really good for us because the last time I faced him, he had
Give me
like
the
5
Storm.
hits off. So that's good.
And still going to recluse.
No, I'll take. I think the Royals have a slight edge just because their hitting ability. Vin is a very fiery player. Give him something to play for. They are not a tough out. They've played us very tough all year. I haven't played Storm once all year. I honestly don't know. I can't.
Yeah, we haven't
even
played them
speak
either.
for their vast
Yeah,
improvement.
we have not played
Not
them.
to say I'm not rooting for them. That they're a Cinderella. They're a team that people want to win.
The Royals
Good
beat
luck
us in the
story.
Final Four, so we know what they're capable of.
I think this is just a game that will be live streamed on Sunday.
I agree.
This is the matchup that people want to see just for the Battle of the Bronx. They've had experience in different leagues, and this is what WIF is about: is putting these guys
Freddie
together
and
play.
Van are very intense players. So if the Storm, they gotta turn up the intensity.
They will only be on live stream if Freddie does not wear jeans to the regional playoff and play in jeans. That's just an absolute uniform violation.
When did that
Travis
happen?
Roy this weekend.
Really?
It is this weekend, I believe.
Wait, what does the jeans have to do with Travis Roy?
Fine, $15. Travis Roy.
Yeah, $15.
Uniform
we're gonna find
violation.
him. Oh, I thought it meant like I thought he went to Travis Roy and showed up wearing jeans.
$15, Travis Roy.
We got to go up there one year, man. I'm really disappointed.
There's a waiting list at this point.
Yeah, it's
you know
really-
a guy who knows a guy to get us in.
Yeah, well, the guy we know is kind of high up.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's still important. What about Kyle Griner? You mentioned the other day. Doesn't he still go up for that?
I don't know if he still goes. He lives in Georgia now. I don't know if he still goes. They went for years and years. I think last year might have been there. Last year.
I miss Kyle. We need Kyle back.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. I hope
He's
Don
living in
Thomas.
Atlanta now.
Hopefully he's on there. Who was
Yeah.
most recently
Oh, yeah.
on the television.
Shazam
Good people.
King.
Good guy.
All right, so we're 2 matchups in. We've got some picks. So we're going to move on to the first matchup where somebody in the studio is physically participating in this wiffle ball game. That's the 7-seed Lot against the 10-seed Enemy. And first you may say, the Enemy are a 10-seed? Did they
Not play
just
all
not
year.
play, right? Did they just show up to events and qualify? Did they have no pass? Well, I guess, you can argue that. Did they not show up and just say they weren't going to show up? They didn't. They actually showed up almost every event this year. And, they had a down year. They're a 10 seed in the regional playoffs. They're routinely the 1 or the 2, and if not favorites for winning the championship. And this year, I didn't have them as the favorite to win it because they haven't shown me all year that they can even put it together to win an event. I don't even think they've made it a finals in an event. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They have not.
The
They
Enemy have not
even
made a single
Final Four. I don't believe
No.
they've made a Final Four.
No,
That's confirmed.
they've acquired no bonus points.
They've the Enemy. I want to clarify this.
Yes.
You just said the Enemy didn't make a Final Four all year.
That is
Did they win
correct.
the national championship last year?
Yep.
They did.
Wow, Wow. So, Anthony, how you feel about this matchup? Let's get your first take right here.
Yeah.
It's a little tough. We do not have Sean, nor do we have Gerard.
And that's addition by
So
subtraction.
I want to point out,
Some
not
would
to
argue
interrupt you,
that.
that's like the third team we've talked about not having a full roster
Yeah.
for regionals. This
No
is,
Pash.
This is tough.
Zero Pash.
This is
it's
tough to say.
It's
Try to
tough.
look at every camera for that.
Zero Pash.
Zero Pash.
Losing Gerard is addition by subtraction. He's really
Yeah, but
toxic.
in a one game, 7-inning game, he can really hit anybody and be the offense. Excuse me, this team needs to win.
Yeah, if the temperature's right and he's hydrated and fed and
Hey, you got this bat for me?
You know,
You got this
so-
monster for me? I bet this
They're-
better roll for me.
remaining three players are very good hitters though. So
Yeah.
Who's showing up for the enemy? Kevin,
Sean and Ty.
Ty.
I don't know Joe's deal.
I don't know if Joe
And
is
D-Wade
playing.
obviously can't play.
D-Wag is not
So-
qualified.
Not qualified.
Purcell
Joe is
has
qualified and hit 237.
Yeah, he stinks too.
Pete Slater has to be a comeback player of the year.
I'm
just for the
sorry, I'm
record.
I mean,
never.
he did hit 130.
I can't. I'm never betting against the enemy.
No,
I know this is why it's a tough game. I want to pick the lot from the homer perspective, but I mean, you're gonna tell me the enemy are gonna go to this their sixth event and then not gonna show up?
Think about this realistically. You're
Yeah.
gonna tell me Norris and Ty are not going to outpitch. No offense to, of course, my teammates, Pete and Taco. I think they'd be the first to tell you that they would not be able to outpitch them.
Well,
But
what if-
again, we could also do better than them.
Who would not be able to outpitch them? Your team would not be able to outpitch
Correct.
against them?
Correct.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But here's two factors going in your favor, though. The fact that you're playing them the first game of the day, and the enemy historically have not been very good early in the
Yeah,
day.
no,
They're-
we've beaten
they're a
them.
late team,
We've
and you've
beaten
beaten them, right? So those are the two factors right there.
It's not like they have our number.
You got to get on them early.
All close games.
Early and often. You really got to score runs though. It's impossible to beat a team like the enemy or a team like 10-run rule like 1 or 2-0. Like I feel like you got to put up 4 or 5 runs, and because you're going to give up 2 or 3, no matter how you slice it. Ty's going to hit a home run. Kevin's going to hit a solo shot. Sean's going to hit. Like they're going to hit. They're going to get theirs, especially in a 7-inning game. So I think you got to come out strong early. Who are you
You
going
don't
to start?
score, you're going to lose. You're right.
Who you gonna
That's
start?
that's
You can't
undecided.
divulge that.
It's
Yeah,
undecided.
just try to pry.
Just try to pry.
Come on.
I would pitch all 3 of them, but that's just me.
That's been discussed.
That's very fair. That's a
discussed.
fair.
I mean, I
You
think
got to
a
show
lot
them
of
everything.
I think a lot of the enemies struggle. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I mean, the majority of the games they lost, Kevin was not on the mound. And I don't know if that was strategic, where you're trying to limit Kevin's innings for those final 4 games, something like that. But they haven't been able to get to that point. And I wonder if it's, start starting these games with Kevin so that you could actually get a lead. Because that's something that if the enemy have a lead, they don't usually give it up. They're a team that they lose 1-2-0 games because you scored and it stayed 0-0 for the first 2 innings and you finally scratched a run. And you guys saying that you got to score runs to beat the enemy. At the same time, if the enemy are scoring runs, there's a good chance they're going to score more than you in that game.
Yeah,
It's
no
when
doubt.
the game, especially when you play super qualifier games that are quick 4-inning games. If you get through the first 2 innings in 0-0, now all it takes is 1 run, and now you're on your heels.
Would you believe me if I told you that Norris only had 5 home runs on the year?
Nope. I wouldn't believe you.
I had more than that.
I had more than that.
And you also played twice as many games.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but he's
they
Kevin.
played
He's GG though.
on a lot of fields where the wind was blowing it.
So did a lot of
I don't
people.
wanna hear
A
these
lot of the
excuses.
field.
Okay, but the idea that the enemy as a team would not hit home runs is
So you
it's
can tell me
ridiculous.
you can tell me the team.
They still had
Kevin Norris-
22 as a team. That's probably much more than most teams.
yeah. But what I'm saying is,
I
if they're on a
disagree.
field with the
22
wind blowing
as
out.
a team. And how many they played?
Well, those two
they
guys
played,
hit more than
5
that together.
events. That's a minimum of 4 games. They played 5 games, so they averaged 4 home runs per
Look at
event.
some team leaders.
I guess is that a
They've
lot?
played 25
one
games
event,
because
right?
Ty has the most games played.
And they
so
have
say they've
22
played
missed one
25
event.
games.
If there was ever a team to not pay attention to the stats, it would be them.
Oh no!
Oh, I definitely
they know
agree
what
with
they
that.
need to. This is
Right.
all for banter. Come on, they are not in the top 5 in home runs.
Are they going to treat regionals like the Open? Obviously not. So
We've
that's
I
been
the
saying-
question.
disagree. I think they need a tune-up, and I think they know that they need a tune-up, and they're not just going to show up at the Open and win.
Why they
10
did
games.
last year.
But they just got to
But
be
they
aware.
also
Yeah, but no, they got
they
hot
won
at the
events
second
like
head.
that.
Yeah.
Remember that event in Mass last year? That turned. We've been waiting for that since week 3. After week 3, we're like, all right, the enemy is going to turn it on now.
Yeah. We're waiting to all be on a field and just hear crack, 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 and be like, oh, that's the 36th home run that I hit today, and that did not happen.
Well, it might be Sunday, so good luck, everyone.
They have the switch. Flip it whenever you want.
What is Atlantic City?
Enemy minus 290.
Oh my God!
That is very favorite.
It was minus 500 earlier. I'm glad you came down from that. That's
Well, they're missing 2 players, and one of their players is a borderline ace.
Yeah, but like you said, addition by subtraction.
Yeah. What were McRae's numbers this year? I mean, McRae had some really good pitching.
90 miles an hour. That was his numbers this year.
10-8 with a 2.04 ERA. With
Okay.
a 1.23 WHIP.
Wait, 10-8?
Yeah.
We pitch every game?
It's 18 games.
19 games.
He
all that's-
missed 2 tournaments.
I agree. Oh, I mean, you can pitch 2 games in pool play. You pitch 2 games in
you could
playoffs,
pitch-
possibly plus the next.
So that
game.
hurts them even more than I thought.
He pitches 2 games
He's
in
their
group.
workhorse as well.
Yeah.
Pitches 2 games in
yeah.
group and pitches 2 games at least after that, a playoff game, and then
That's so many
probably
games.
most likely an exit game.
All right, let's. Would you believe
So many
me
games.
if I said that the enemy as a team had the 8th most home runs as a team in the New York region, 12th if you add Massachusetts. So there's 4 teams in just Massachusetts that had more than them.
I guess 8th.
Plus-
I mean, that doesn't sound as bad 8th, knowing that we have 20 teams, but that is definitely much lower than I thought them.
And I really
New
don't
York
know.
Royals right under them.
I don't know anything about the Massachusetts region either. I don't know the fences.
They
I
play
don't
with
know
football?
I don't know the
Wow.
situation.
You
I don't know the
gotta
wind
explain
situation. We don't know what those numbers look like.
No, I played up there 1 week. It's a pretty straightforward
And the
field.
grass is really slow.
It
That's
is,
all
the
I know.
grass
Gotta
is
hit
very
home
slow
runs.
up
They
there.
usually have
Yeah,
shorter.
it's home run or nothing.
I only played at one field, and the other time the players went up, they played on the same field. But then the first 2 events, I think they played at the old Pingree School. I want to say. This one was at a different field. It was at Dot Street in Beverly. This is the field that Lou runs. It's his little league field. Grass was super high, but it was fields facing both
It was
directions.
the one we played on last year when me, you, and did something.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the yellow.
when I drove. No, it was just like a blacktop driveway that drove down, and then you parked under the trees, and then there was just grass with 2 baseball fields and a shack. I don't think it was.
Maybe it was different.
I think this might have been maybe when we pulled over randomly to play whiffs that day. It looks more like when we pulled over on the way home, 5-hour drive home.
Yeah, so I have the enemy. But
Okay.
that being said, everything being said,
Yeah, I'll take the enemy as well because I actually like the enemy to win the whole.
they're
thing,
just
so.
missing too many players.
Yeah, I have to take the enemy.
Anthony, who do you like in this
You don't
series?
have, you don't have to ask me.
All right,
I'll take the enemy.
You got to take yourself, otherwise you're going to get
Of course, taking myself.
Yeah. Bet on yourself. The odds are good. You're going to win a lot of money.
I mean, listen.
The only team to bet on.
Didn't you say it earlier? It's the year's been the year of parity, right? So
Yeah, not concerned.
in one way where it wouldn't surprise me if the enemy won the whole thing, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys beat them like 7-6.
We don't want the easy route.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna get it.
You want to be tested on a day like it only prepares you for the open. I mean,
So-
regional playoff is for bragging rights in New York. We played 6 grueling weeks and some bad weather, some hot
And
weather,
then
cold
winter
weather.
gets dark nights, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be fun either way.
Yeah.
I agree. That'd be good. It'll be a defending champion essentially playing the Dark Knights who've had their best year, and then an upcoming lot against the Dark Knights who've had a good year. Kind of want to put them back in their place.
Hopefully.
That would be nice. All right. So we're 3 matchups in. Our final matchup is the artist formerly known as the Lemonheads, now known as POC. Also known as Piss Off Connor, in case anyone was curious what POC was standing for.
Soup.
The 8 seed. Before we even get to who they're facing, the throwbacks, the Lemonheads joined the league late, came in with a flurry, making it to a finals, making it to a third place game, making it to another third place game, going 0-3 1 week, somehow making it into the cut, and then making it to the finals. Like, unbelievable 4 weeks that this team has had.
They hit.
Yeah, they definitely rigged.
hit.
It's really unbelievable.
And then, and we'll get more into them in a second. And then we have the throwbacks, number 9 seed, owner John Denaro, JD, with Dan Mora, Brian Wynn, and Jake Baddick. You know,
Scrappy.
for me, this is an 8-9 matchup, but to me, these teams are going in opposite directions.
I disagree, but I want to hear your take.
Well, I mean,
would agree.
I've faced the throwbacks the last few events, and we've beaten them, and that doesn't mean anything. But I just sense this. I don't know. It's a long season playing together. It's their first time all playing together. Maybe it's some, in season like, oh, we got to get used to it. We have we're having down. We're not bringing each other up.
Both of these teams are kind of relatively new together, cores. being
Well,
together.
but I think the Lemonheads have played together in other formats.
They
though,
have.
right? So,
Okay, so-
I think putting JD with these 3 guys is a new season, considering JD played with guys from the Dead End Kids for a long time, guys like Petty and and Doc and FK and Venus, and now he's playing with 3 young kids. I think the team has had some issues. I mean, I'm not trying to say this like they don't like each other, but I just think that there's some interesting dynamics on that team, and they're just not performing well. And I think they're going downward into the playoffs compared to the Lemonheads, who, even though it didn't make the last event, have come in and pretty much been steady the whole time and haven't shown that they can't hit anybody. So I want to hear your take now, Mister. I disagree.
We faced them in the playoffs. We got quick ones off JD, and then Jake came in and pitched real well.
Yeah.
JD is going to be their wild card because he had his best hitting season, batted 340. I don't know the number.
He was like
360 going
fifth
into
in
last
hits.
week.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
JD batted 328.
Okay, so 330.
Best
No
year of my
BP or
life.
420.
If he has a knock working, they're in a lot of trouble. POC. I have POC minus 120 or a pick 'em
But what
based on
about,
you
if we were to
look
talk
at.
about pitching, then what about Dan Mora's acquisition on the throwbacks? Is he not a good pitcher?
I don't know what their
See, that's where
rotation's gonna
that's
be.
where JD as the elder statesman on the team. I mean, Winnie's there to hit and tell him what to do, and that's it. He's not there to pitch and fight with the strategery of the game. That's JD's role on this team. He brought in 2 really good rookie players and had them playing really well throughout most of the season. And where he needs to come in now, especially in a pressure situation, which neither of these kids have really been in, is to understand where he needs to step in and understand where he needs to step back and let those kids play. He needs to run the team and manage the team, but not overmanage anything, because these kids have talent. He needs to use them in the right way, and it's up to him to use them the right way, because they're going to do what he asks, because they've been nothing but great teammates all year, and JD's been nothing but great to them, and they've reaped the benefits. They're the 8th seed. If you said at the beginning of the year, I don't think you would have thought that,
No.
considering what we knew of the team.
100%
Not at all.
correct. They were projected very low, if I remember.
I had
projected
By
12.
somebody who made that list.
I had a discussion with John, and I said they can be right in the middle, right in the thick of things.
And that's what they do. John's goal is for them to get as high as they can. They play all these weeks. They treat every event as something very important, and that's what we love to see. And that's why there's teams that are in the playoff bracket that are there for a reason.
I agree.
Well, last year when I played with Wynn, every time we needed a big hit, he got it. So that's going to be a humongous
really
factor
good
for
at
them.
hitting the ball the
I
other
think
way
it's
as well.
John's. I think it's John's game. This game, if they're going to win, it's going to be because he pitched really well and he hit really well. So I kind of like have a pick 'em. I would pick the throwbacks. Really, really close game.
I don't know.
Nothing against the Lemonheads, who I love.
know.
'Cause
Jake
they
hit 350, Mora hit 214, and Winnie hit 256, along with JD's 328.
They're not going to
They all-
score runs.
No, they're a what? I'm saying that's a 2-1 game. I think throwbacks.
But the Lemonheads as a team, their worst hitter is 277.
Have they faced each other this year? Did the Lemonheads face the throwbacks?
I can
Yeah,
check for
yeah,
you
they
real
have.
quick.
They played.
they did, right?
They played in the playoffs. Lemonheads beat them.
That's correct, because
Yeah,
that's the week
just
they
the
beat
last.
us.
That wasn't just the last.
No,
the last event that
Right.
the Lemonheads played.
No, the week they
It was a
beat
really
us.
tough matchup.
Oh no, the week we beat us. We
It can go so many ways.
Yeah.
So JD's a feast or famine pitcher. We,
Yep.
we know that, but if he could shut them down, frustrate for 2 innings. Now you bring in 2, very good pitchers that
Wait, Max is 4.
Max is 4.
I think
but they have
John's
3 arms.
I think he's going to pitch 4 innings.
The Lemonheads.
That's what I mean. If you start John, he's pitching well, and you can go as long as you can with him. That only
100%.
lessens the pressure on someone like Jake or Dan, who might have to pitch the 7th inning with
Split 'em up.
everything on the line.
I agree. Having a kid like Jake only having to pitch 3 instead of 4 innings, I think is a big deal. Because I feel like he can give it a little more and kind of really loosen up and just throw. Not when he has to go so long of the game. Really only going the last 3 innings.
But Mora went toe for toe with Stant at the indoor tournament. Not like it's it's not the Open.
No, it's still
but
history.
They still want to win that. You want to win that tournament. I mean, you want to win every one you go to. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Lemonheads beat the Throwbacks 3-2, June 9th.
yeah, like we said, low scoring.
Two solo shots from Tim and Ray on the Lemonheads.
They're gonna hit.
I think that's the week that they beat us when we were the 1 seed, and then they went on that run when they were 0-3. Because they did that was the first event, June 9th.
That was
they
because
went
I
0-3
dropped
and
the
then
ball.
went 3-3 in the playoffs. Yeah, and then that was
I was
bad.
playing with one arm.
A lot of people were watching that. Yeah, you were playing with one arm. That's fair because you're a guy who's got passion.
Gritty
but
gutty.
You still
Gritty gutty.
didn't make the play though. So
No, he didn't.
I tried to catch it.
In fact, he did that a lot this year.
I tried to catch it like a football, like a body catch, and the
we
ball
watched.
just bounced off my
A
chest.
lot of people watched.
And then I
the game.
fell over the fence.
Yeah, he's not a good player.
Very embarrassing.
So what do we think, guys? I feel like Oh, mind you, we can talk all we want about this game. The winner has to face 10 runner rules, so this could be a one and done situation for both these teams. Anyway,
It's like a march to your death game.
yeah, it's
Wow.
like,
We're counting both of these teams out already, huh?
yeah. I mean, 10 run rule lost twice to the Dark Knights.
Yeah, but what if
no one in this room would say we beat 10 run rule this year. So.
What if 10 run rules on the field with the wind blowing in?
Oh my!
What if it was a tree?
They may protest the game and then not play.
Wow. Well, the wind blowing in is the great equalizer.
But the wind blowing in can happen on any field at any given Sunday because you don't know
Right.
what the weather is.
Well, 10 run rule has the first choice of field. If there is one field that's blowing out, they will find that field and they will be on it.
Yeah.
They're going to take BP on 6 different fields at the same time.
Honestly, I don't blame them. I think the weather is supposed to be a little cooler this week. The wind might be a little different. They're going to be there looking at the best field that they can win their championship in, or at least get to the finals, because we may dictate where the championship is based on the conditions as well. I have the Lemonheads winning. If it's throwbacks aren't a team that are going to come back from an early deficit, especially if it's more than 2 or 3 runs, I'd say. But if they're on the right field and the game is close early, it's anyone's game, no doubt.
Phil disagrees.
It's why we have 4 heads here.
They scored 4 against us. Well, no, they had Mike Polly that day.
And he was facing Tom,
And he was
who
facing Tom.
admitted that he hit 700 off.
Such a skewed stat.
It was
Tom-
ridiculous.
Tom
we
gave
all knew it was going to happen. I'm like, we're going to lose
Tom
this game
gave up
now.
1 home run all season.
here's another
and it
thing
was
to
to
his,
Mike.
to his brother,
Yeah.
3-run
Here's
shot.
another thing about the throwbacks is that they're gamers and that you know that it's not going to be an easy game no matter
Right.
what. JD plays his ass off. You know that Jake plays really hard. Dan Moore plays really hard. Brian Winney's the captain of that team. He's got great heart.
Got to
so
see.
that is going to be a tough matchup either
They
way.
have a good lineup.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
My heart would be with the throwbacks. My brain lies with the Lemonheads because
that's a fair assumption.
it's tough because outside of Ray on the Lemonheads, they don't really have much pitching. They try to avoid using Tim and Dave outright.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the throwbacks can get to Tim, they'll probably start with Ray, throw him the full 4, try to establish our lead and hold it.
Fair.
That's where the golden games do get
But that's
fun.
where the Golden Games gets fun. Exactly. We don't know exactly what they're going to do.
It's really 2
You turn a 1-0 game
two
into a
games in
6-0
one.
game.
But
real
now,
quick.
like the pitcher that in normal qualifiers would only have to pitch 2 innings, and you could take him out. Now he has to throw 3, or you can use all 3 of your pitchers and try to mix it up that way. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I feel like you're waiting for Jake to have a week where, like, remember when Tyler Can exploded? That's like the week you're waiting for out of Jake, and it will happen.
he's a really good
He's
hitter.
like a freak.
Well, usually when a team wins the regionals like this, somebody on that team is
Yes.
having that kind of week. So
And if Jake goes,
He's having that kind
they
of
could
year.
go
I mean,
really big.
the kid's tearing the cover off the ball.
I have it
Right.
as a pick'em, but
this rookie, I tell you what, between him and Ryan, this rookie of the year conversation is going to be really
It's
good.
very
That's
tough.
true.
Couple weeks.
Probably for the
close.
first time ever where we've had
Yeah.
like an influx of productive rookie
Rookies,
players.
yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of these rookies are coming in with some experience, whether it's goal or another league. I mean, that's what we've wanted for years. It's this league is for everyone. So
Yeah.
Jake's a freak.
Yeah.
player.
I mean, that's really all there is to it.
JD, great move stealing him from the
All right.
Crusaders.
Crusaders had a hidden gem there.
Hey, he was an unrestricted free agent, and he didn't.
He had no
match his
ties.
qualifying offer, and he went to
He's
fullback.
he's going to break out and be a really, really
JD's an
awesome
owner.
player.
JD's an owner that likes to spend money, so because he doesn't really pay his employees, so he just spends
Wow.
on his team.
And you know he's watching.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Love it.
weak.
Hi, JD.
That's
You
weak.
can Apple Pay me for this week. It's good.
That's weak. Hey, listen, I'm a Go Geo guy.
That was a low blow. That was a low
We
blow.
got some.
Wow, being so offended for making a joke.
I should have worn the Go Geo shirt.
Wow, I agree. Why didn't you wear a Go Geo? Why isn't Go Geo our number 1 sponsor of Golden Stick? That's what I like.
Listen, we're here for all your delivery needs. Go Geo.
How about
Exactly.
that sounds like the field crew is
Where's the
sponsored by Go Geo.
sponsorship?
Yeah, we just snuck in that
No,
plug.
the field crew is
You're
sponsored by
welcome,
Go
JD.
Geo. That's it. We're Golden Stick
Crew
Golden Stick
sponsored
Long
by
Island.
You
Go
can
Geo.
pay up then.
Yeah, wow.
You should pay us. We're the ones doing the work for you.
Maybe Golden Stick should be
So
sponsoring us.
he's paying your salary then. Perfect.
No, this is pro bono. We'll discuss the earnings later.
I see.
That's
Finder's fees. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hazard pay.
Listen, you guys paid Hazard. That's fine. He does
It
too.
was hot that day.
Hey, we're a fair bunch of guys.
Okay. Well, we're not going to get into this with you. That's not going to be
I
discussed
thought
on
we
this
were filming a
podcast.
podcast.
Did we make all of our picks for this?
Pick 'em.
I can't
well,
remember.
I'm not picking this
You
game.
took.
I
You
took the
gave
lemon.
us 2 picks.
I
You
took the
gave us your
Lemonhead.
heart
I'm gonna
and
take
your
the
mind.
Lemonhead.
Okay, so
I'll
we
take the
have
Lemonhead.
Caputo Taking the Lemonheads. Bob?
That's a
I will
tough
take the
one.
Lemonheads.
Wow.
That's a tough one.
You know what? I'm going to take...
But JD only asked me to just give him a shout out. He didn't ask me to pick them. So
That's fine. I'm going to take the...
I'm going to take the
we gave
throwbacks,
him a full
but I
business
love you,
plug. He could,
Lemonheads. Don't feel slighted by my pick.
he'll be happy with that.
Hey, throwbacks are yard staple. They're a hometown favorite. You got to root for the throwbacks. If you gave me which of those two had a better shot at beating 10-run rule, I'd go with the Lemonheads. The who wins this game, I think, is a lot closer than that.
Remember this, even if they lose to the Lemonheads, better things are happening for the throwbacks next year even. They'll only improve.
It's a classic 8-9.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
All right, great points, everybody. So I agree. Should be another, perhaps another game we can film because we're gonna have capabilities to film one or two games. So maybe that's another game we can.
Do you want to move along like the
Well,
winners
I
we
kind
have
of want
playing?
to. I agree.
Talk about the other
I think
four
we should break
teams.
down the last 4 teams since we have 2 of them in the room and the other 2 are really good.
I
but they're really boring,
like the
though.
Hammerheads.
I mean-
They're an excellent team.
I really like the Hammerheads too if they face the Players because they haven't lost to the Players since the merger. So I agree with you. All right, you guys want to start 1 through 4 or 4 to 1?
I just think
Let's go 4-1.
Tom is so criminally
let's go 4-1.
underrated.
Because
Let's get 10
there's
runs.
not much to say
get
to
to-
that. Once we get to them, we can just end the show.
Let's get 10 run rule out of the
And
way
take the
right
calls.
now. They lost 2 games all year. They're amazing. Next game.
Just don't. As long as they don't have the Dark Knights, we're done with the 10
That's
runs.
a very good point. All right, so we'll start 4 to 1. The 4 seed is yours truly, the New York Players.
New York compilers.
I would say we are not compilers, even though we've played in 8 events. We've had our best season, 8 events, because our guys have passion.
They do have passion.
We also have, we played 0 backyard
They're
games.
also
this time.
scattered
0 backyard
in
games.
2 different regions, though. So you
Correct.
do have an advantage.
We do benefit by having 2 players in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, so we can
Very
play
questionable.
up in Boston. Or very questionable. It just sounds like I have a very flexible roster. I've diversified
That's
my
good
team.
roster moves. It's a good GM job.
This is our,
That's what helps them a lot. Flexibility.
Listen, I'm going to toot my own home for a second. When we were the Americans, Anthony, in 2017, we were
really
a bad wiffle ball team.
Bad organization.
And I had to make some strong decisions. I had to let Anthony go, even though I really like playing with him. I had to keep Drew, because I played with him for the first 8 years. I went out and I signed a Rapaki in a region, and we played as a 3. We played really well. And then we got Eric Anderson as part of he was essentially designated for assignment by the Roughnecks up in Mass. He reached out looking for a team. I said, I'm interested in your incredible pitching abilities and won. He's got like 11 starts this year. He's been our best player. He's definitely the reason why
He's
we're
pitched
fourth
21
place.
games.
He has 11 wins.
He has 11 wins.
He's
not 11.
pitched, he's a workhorse, just like how Sean's a workhorse for you. I mean, he goes out, he pitches most likely both games in pool play. He always starts for me. I like starting him in the playoffs, the first game, because we got to win.
You got to establish.
Gotta get the win.
I thought you were
gotta
going to
the
say I
win.
like sitting.
Well, that's also why we start Sean twice in
I
the
like
group.
benching myself.
Yeah, I like not pitching.
You don't win those games, you're letting points get away. So
Very true.
You got to win those games. You got to make the playoffs. It's a
anytime
tough
you
region
have
to make the playoffs, so you got to win those games.
Points are points. Yeah, I think we did a good job as a team, just getting points and getting some wins, beating who we have to play. Yeah, a lot of people say we've had an easy strength of schedule, but I mean, it's a random draw every week.
Gotta win the games.
Could have been anybody getting those teams, but we still got to beat them.
Honestly, that's what makes this format really awesome for any team, because it's just win your games in pool play. It doesn't matter, because the bracket is a total crapshoot. You go 3-0, be the 3 seed, and get state of mind in the first round just because that's the way it shook out. Someone's got to win these games. Someone's got to lose them. There were weeks where we had more than half the event go 1-2 or worse, meaning we're all just beating the heck out of each other, and it shows, and in the standings and everything. So
Picking up Eric is not as shrewd a move as you think.
Why?
Because anytime you have a chance to pick up a national champion, it's really
I mean,
it's a
I
no-brainer.
wasn't thinking of that at the time. That's a great bonus, but I'm also like, this guy can pitch, and I'm not the pitcher I
He's
used
been
to
playing
be.
for 11 years. He's
Drew,
amazing.
he's
just
very-
golden stick straight up.
Yeah, no, he's great.
He did play before that or no?
he played. The first time I met him was in the winter league that Whiffman ran in 2008. Before we had Golden State
Okay.
in New York.
He was
That was one
definitely
of the first-
he was
like-
definitely playing like before. I just mean, was he
And
playing golden stick
he used to
before
play, he used to play
09?
fast plastic as well with like
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Belanger
Right,
and those
right.
guys like back in the day.
Yeah, he used to play with
he's like
Amato.
our
I
age
knew
a
he
year
played.
ago.
No, I knew he played before that, but I meant did he play golden stick? Because my first introduction to him was at the 09.
Yeah, he played like
All-Star
prospect
game.
division
Okay,
as he
gotcha.
came up through the Golden Stick
Gotcha,
ranks in
gotcha.
Massachusetts for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a poster child for what Golden Stick was supposed to be back in the day. I agree. No, he's been a great addition to our team. Great positive guy. He's great attitude. What are you pointing at? Our
High odds plus 325 for the players to win the whole thing.
To win the whole thing.
And I think that's like really
you
good
get 10
odds.
run
for
goals
guys.
if you win, right?
I'm saying we're on the 10-run rule side of the bracket.
That's rather favorable.
But only because there's so few teams. So the
No, of
pool's
course.
not that big.
Yeah, no, they're only competing with
10
7
run rule to
teams.
win the whole tournament's minus 120.
We didn't get to them.
I'm just saying. He's just looking at the odds.
Just pointing it out.
It's just pointing
No,
out.
listen, I like our chances against both dead end kids or screwballs. To me, those are. Like, I'm not worried. Like, no matter who we play, it's the same mentality because we played them both so many times. I mean, yeah, I guess I'd rather face dead end kids because they don't have Niff Man, but I also feel like I'd like facing. I mean, if I'm going to face screwballs, they can throw Johnny 4 innings and then throw Jerry or JR. And I mean,
Are their odds
faced
the
each other a
same
million
no matter who
times.
they play in that matchup?
No.
Pretty similar.
No. I just have it straight up bracket.
Yeah,
so
no, I know.
like 10-1 rules
Just
weighted.
asking the
Right.
bookie.
Right.
Here's the deal: if the players don't hit, we don't win. Case closed. We don't win games 2-1. We did a lot of that this year, but that's not our MO. We can't win games 2-1, 3-1. We have to score more runs and put the pressure on the other team, and that helps our pitching.
Team full of veterans.
Do you have Noah Rapaki this week?
I honestly don't know.
That's such a lie. He knows it.
No, I swear, I really don't.
That's
I don't.
tough
He told me he
because-
was 50-50. He would reach out to me, and he hasn't reached out to me.
It is early in the week.
They're
It's early.
four very similar players. Like you're a team that it's like what's working that day, and you've always kind of
and
been like that.
Rapaki would be a nice extra arm or extra bat to have because if Eric doesn't have it and Drew doesn't have it, it's up to me. Great. Here we go.
I have a question.
Right now is looking like he's having a down year, batting 316. Is that a down year for Drew?
For Drew,
316. That's
I
low
think
for
Drew
Drew.
has definitely had some issues squaring the ball up this year. He definitely has hit a lot more ground balls. He's hit a lot
So
of.
he's a high
pop-ups.
He guy.
He does walk a
Yeah, but
ton.
he's
Oh,
got-
yeah, no, he's got one of the better eyes in the
His
league.
vision of the play is
Yeah.
great. Yeah, right. He's swinging the good pitches.
Well,
he's
that's
just
why he
not,
hits me
He's
so
just
well.
not squaring them up. Maybe it's because I broke the bat week 1. Perhaps that's no good. Okay. So we're going to pause 2 seconds because it just says that the show lost service. So we want to check our feeds here
maybe
real
my
quick.
phone died.
Was that the Facebook or the Instagram
Are we
feed?
going off air?
No, we can still talk because it's still recording anyway.
Yeah, it's still on Instagram. My phone probably died. That's
we'll
fine.
figure it out.
You want to just say, so we are recording this not live directly to him, so we're going to post this on YouTube and then post to Facebook later, the full version. So
I gotcha.
if you weren't on Facebook, you could watch the rest of us in the last 5 minutes on Instagram,
Yeah.
but we'll put the whole thing up tonight.
And then we're also going to try to get some phone calls in if we can. We have a phone number we're going to try and reach us at. We haven't figured out which one yet, but we're most likely going to pause this and then start a fresh podcast with just phone calls if we do it. So we'll let you know. We'll give you the information when we have that. Yeah. I agree. All right, so you guys done?
Yeah, let's go
you guys
through the last
talking
few
my bad
teams.
team. You guys
Yeah,
done with me?
teams
What?
Are you up for Golden Palm? I'm just curious.
No, definitely not. I didn't have a good year fielding. I'm not. You know what? I'm not into it this year.
Wow, no passion.
No, I don't really. Yeah, that came out really bad.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that-
into it, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe because our pitching is so much better, I haven't had to do much in the field this year. I feel like
I haven't really seen you out there much this year.
No passion.
I do. Listen, the better benefits of playing as a 4. Guess what? When you got to run a tournament because somebody's always playing as a 3, you got to go do stuff. So I put 3 guys in the field.
I'm busy winning the
Yeah,
tournament.
I'm busy winning the tournament. Yeah, I
only-
can't wait until we get to the Hammerheads and
We-
talk
we
about
only-
the one event they won this year.
We only got busy once,
Yeah, I agree. Your team stinks.
but Tom wasn't there.
And let's talk
Thanks,
about
Tom.
your third place finishes.
Unfortunately, we have to talk about that team right now. So.
I agree. All right, so the players,
Go ahead.
America's
Go
team,
ahead. You guys start it
Hammerheads,
up.
America's most hated team, most likely since
I will start
since
the
the
conversation
end
by
of-
saying that Tom is probably the most underrated player.
He's not underrated. He's well known as the
You
best
should
player.
listen to the things that I hear from other people.
Yeah,
Again,
because-
nameless people.
Yeah, Gerard.
Well,
Connor.
we call out Gerard, but
Tom is the strongest kid there, pound for pound. He weighs 130 pounds and muscles the ball better than anyone. He has as much power as Gary DeVito, and he has much flexibility as a Ben Stant or someone like that who can get the bat anywhere.
Nah, to me, Tom is an unbelievable player. Underrated would not be a vocabulary word I would use for
you're
that.
not
I've
talking to
basically
the
made
people
the
I'm
case that
talking to.
he's the best player in the region for the last 2 or 3 years.
I mean, his numbers are ridiculous. He only played in what 3
They're
or 4
insane
events?
they're insane every single year.
I did see him out over the weekend. He was talking. I don't know. He doesn't look like a guy who's gonna be ready for regionals. Not
Air
the-
it out.
Yeah,
Air
he's
it out
going,
right now.
he's going to the Met game the night before. He'll be very hammered, and he's going to play great.
He said he was going to be very.
Hammerheads have
I
never
think-
lost the game when Tom
I
shows up
think that
drunk.
Tom Howley's a low pass guy
Hammered
now.
heads. Sure.
Tom Howley was a young kid we brought into the league that had a lot of passion. Now he's got like 5-6 years on his tires, and that tread's gone.
Polly's riding league minimum now. He's like, I'm only going to show up to 2
you hearing
events. I'm only going to do this. I'm
That's
only going
fine.
to do
And he's
that.
still going to show up and rake you off the field.
Oh my god!
Along with myself.
High maintenance team. High maintenance team.
Just for the record, with an injured arm, bad AC joint, my ERA was under 2.5. So there
I
it is.
agree. You did shut us down that one game. I was very
And I was
upset.
throwing 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, it just shows you again. If we can't hit, we can't beat anybody.
Yeah, I
So-
also shut you guys down, so you should be
You know
ashamed of
what? Here
yourself.
we go.
That's fair.
Like, just let it go.
He goes, that's fair.
No, I can't argue with anything because that is what it is.
I like our chances with Tom. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, we should,
or
'cause he's
Packer,
one of
but
the best
Bordy's not
players.
playing
What do
this
you
week
have
for us.
You didn't recluse yourself from giving yourself odds
plus
for them,
250.
right? Plus 250 to win the whole thing. The Hammerhead.
we have a very difficult road. I mean, we have whoever we play in the first round will not be easy.
The Bronx Royals is a really bad matchup.
Bronx Royals terrible match. We've lost to them at least twice this year.
Yeah, bad
in
matchup
money
for us.
games
But
and elimination.
you're not on the 10-run rule side of the bracket though.
We're
Correct.
not, which is why we're ahead of the.
But we get through
Players.
first round into the final four. We have the winner of
You'll have Dark Knights.
Dark Knights, possibly Enemy or Lot. So
Dark Knights plus
our
275.
road is not. We avoid 10-run rule to the end, great, but everyone else is
Yeah,
there.
but that's sometimes the best
And
case
right,
scenario.
even if we hold off 10-run rule, right? Let's say.
I think
then look, there's the lot. I mean, the
teams
enemy
we've
and the lot
lost
on
to.
our side, right? So there you go. So
all
what?
teams we've lost to is in our unless we play the Storm, we haven't played this year.
So the potential Final Four for us, why the odds are so high is because it's the enemy in the Final Four if they win, and then it's 10-run rule. These teams are amazing.
Agreed. At the end of
Yep.
the year, getting to a
You have-
semifinal
you
game,
have
they're
to
probably
earn it.
motivated. I agree.
So
All right, Hammerheads.
plus 250. I like our odds, but it's going to be a really tough road.
I mean, we were in third place. I mean, okay, we won an event with a sub, but it doesn't change the how.
And a third place game where a team forfeited, and then
That's
another
their
third
fault.
place
We
team
would've-
That is
against
their
the
fault.
suspects
That's-
who have the least
Shouldn't be
amount of
allowed to
matches.
forfeit
I have
a
never
game
seen
worth
it.
points and money.
Beat them.
You shouldn't be allowed to forfeit a
the
game
same
worth
reason that
points
you're
and
not a
money.
compiler.
Wasn't
we
that the
beat
first
team
week? That was the
that
Mercenaries, Gongman, Court.
The first 2
I'm
weeks.
not playing this game.
The first 2 weeks they did
I'm not
that.
playing this game.
I'm not playing. And the second
He's
time,
Gongman played this year though. I got to give him some props.
hey, he was the MVP of the first 2 weeks.
His
All
double ball's really
right,
nice.
2 more teams.
All right, so here we go. We'll go to the number 2 team in the region, the Dark Knights out of Suffolk County, New York. Our 5-man squad: Danny Hargaden, Tyler Can, and then a trio of Valentes: Mike, Nick, and Matt Valenti. Some of their highlights for this year: they've won their first Super Qualifier as an organization, defeating 10-run rule. They've also been the only team to defeat 10-run rule. They beat them twice this year. I agree. That's a team that won 33-2. They only got 2 losses. Like, that's pretty impressive. They've got MVP candidates in Tyler Can and Mike Valenti. They're a team that rolls out 5 and doesn't really seem to affect them like most teams do, where they roll out 5 guys. I like their chances to possibly make it to the finals, if not win it, especially if it's 10-run rule. I like them against 10-run rule. I think they're in their head.
No other team you're
and
gonna
I'd like to see them beat them.
Plus 275. Worse odds than us.
That's really good.
Because
What was
they
their
have,
name?
because they have
Tougher-
5 players,
they have
and they have a tougher
They have a
road.
tougher first round.
Immediate,
First round.
tougher
Yeah.
first matchup.
Against a lot of enemy.
A lot of enemy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The fact they face the enemy, it's going to be difficult. And that could be a letdown game because they're already looking ahead to facing 10-run rule in the finals. They realize they got to get to there first.
Right. Well, if they play the enemy, they would then play the winner of
Right.
us.
I mean, but in general, they may have 10-run
for
rule on
sure.
their mind all day. Like, we want to beat 10-run rule in the final.
But the enemy is such a bad matchup for them because Kevin facing 5 players is really tough.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll
Hey.
bench somebody.
They got Matty Ice, too, the best fielder in the league.
Yeah, he was also an unbelievable pitcher this year. Every time I go over there, they're like, oh, Matty pitched a great game. I'm like, Matty pitched.
They use him sparingly. He has very different stuff. He doesn't have the control that the other two have, but he's got the stuff, no doubt. But they need him in the field.
Yes, he's
like really bad.
Me, Golden Palm, Matt Valenti is running away with the Golden
100%.
Palm again.
No, I just asked if you were the one.
I would like to make a case for myself with that.
That's Golden Palm.
Very good
Yeah,
player.
you can make a case for yourself.
You can make your case, but you're not going to get it because you don't play the outfield enough
Right.
like Matt Valenti does.
He's made a few nice grabs. There's been a lot of nice grabs. That
Well,
he
the,
makes.
so the play that's going to hurt you for Golden Palm is to play against the Founders.
Yeah,
he's gonna go for
but I also
You're gonna really
I've
break it down
also
to
stole
why.
I
Come down
stole
to
about
error.
4 home runs this year.
Well, 'cause
One
you're
of which was a
6'30",
was a would-be game winner off of Lipovich.
Yeah, but that's only because you're a big goon, so it's easier for you to save home runs.
And you were in a close game.
Hey, you got to make the play, right?
I agree.
That's true. But Matt Valenti, no offense, Matt Valenti has way better speed than you and way better closing time on.
And he gives up the body.
Yeah.
He reminds
He
me
made some very acrobatic plays.
of a young
He's
me.
just like his,
Acrobatic plays.
Yeah,
I like
he's-
that.
he
So
reminds-
you could use my body against me
Well,
in the
you
case
know,
of
you don't hustle like Matt Valenti.
absolutely.
What about Jay? Why can't Jay win Golden Palm?
he can.
Jay is.
Jay
They
is-
played
Jay's a
like 3
freak.
times.
Probably.
So, yeah.
Maybe we should
He's
have
the
it-
best infielder.
Maybe we
I've
should
ever
have a
seen.
separate
Him
award
and
for
But you know what?
Infielder and outfielder.
State of Mind didn't make the top 12, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah, Wellington has passed though. All right,
Jay's
so
a really good fielder.
Dark Knights have a really good good chance. We've definitely sung their praises enough. And let's go real quick about 10 run rule before we get out of here. 10 run rule.
Oh, do we have to?
They scored 100 points. They don't like when the field is not what they pick and the wind is blowing not really out. But they had top 3. They were top 3 in the league in home runs. They were top 4 in RBIs, and they're really top 5 in every offensive category.
All 3 of their players are top 5 in pretty much every single
You
offensive
could
category.
pick any one of those guys for MVP, but my vote would probably go to Ben because he pitches the most.
Yeah.
I agree.
Even though Ant pitched a lot.
And
It was
They
really
did
well.
have a lot of pitching.
Stan's slugging
It's stupid.
1,025.
Oh my God! And wiffle ball, that's
Slug.
absurd.
He's slugging
hit a
1,025.
change up off me on the bottom right corner where he just stuck his bottom out. And
Yeah, he swings the bat very
really-
violently.
And he has such a long swing
Yeah.
and yard. As long as you get to it, and you're playing on fields that are blowing
I
out.
think.
But you know why Sarasota
be.
was
Could be.
very upset about that, because that Dark Knights loss that they suffered from the last event, that was his first loss on the year.
Oh,
He
really?
finished
Oh,
wow.
15-1
Wow.
on the
they
year.
only lost 2 games. So
I mean, you're gonna be and Stan went 11-1.
Yeah, no.
Gary, their best pitcher, went
Yeah,
1-0.
undefeated. Gary undefeated.
When did Gary actually pitch a game?
who knows?
I thought that was going to be like
Probably
a big
against
deal.
the kids. I think
He,
pitched against the
he
kids.
pitched apparently in 2 games with a 1-0 record and
we
an
get-
ERA of 6.
Can we get Gary's numbers, please? Pitching numbers?
2 2/3, 3 hits, 4 earned, 2 strikeouts,
Record?
1-0.
Cy Young.
That's winning percentage.
He was undefeated on the team that lost 2
He
games all
didn't
year.
pitch. He didn't pitch in 24 innings.
Well, when you put it like that.
Yeah. They're just top to bottom. You know what the real thing is that no one pays attention to with them? They don't make errors. That's why they win.
No, Anthony was talking about Golden Palm. Anthony's on
Oh, yeah, no, Anthony.
That too. Yeah, no, they're,
I saw Ben make 2 diving plays in the infield that were insane.
Yeah.
Like just double took. Like,
They-
wow.
They're
Ben
motivated.
is
they're
so
top to
sneaky
bottom,
athletic.
3 all-around,
Yeah.
best whifflers
I
in
mean,
the country.
they hit almost 500 as a team.
They just
Yeah.
don't make errors.
I mean, the things we used to say about the enemy for years, that's what 10 run rule is this year. I mean, they had one of those dominant seasons where every single week they were there and they.
who
put
beat
it
them in
down.
the Open last year? State of Mind?
I don't know.
7th
The
floor.
10 run rule?
Yeah. At the Open.
I think it was State of Mind.
Was it State of
I think it
Mind?
was State of
I
Mind.
mean, they're the toughest.
In the Final
all
Four,
time.
right? No, because then it wasn't State of
What was the
Mind.
final? 7th floor?
It was
State of
7th
Mind?
floor enemy, wasn't it? 7th floor enemy?
Did they lose
yeah,
to-
7th floor enemy, right?
Maybe they beat him in that round of 8 game.
And who beat them the year before that? You guys?
No, they knocked us out 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
We
they're
should have beat
just-
them first
and
game
then
of the
they knocked,
tournament
and
last
then they
year.
knocked the Yum Yums out. They
I-
got homer off Flynn.
I feel like this year, which is saying a lot, has been their best season.
Well, they've played in way more events than they
Yeah,
did
they
last
only used to
year.
only show up to 2, maybe 3
They
tops.
are committed, and
Well,
they,
that's why, because they're
yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, they
Yeah, I mean,
they-
since their
Unbelievable
whiffle up
shit.
days and we're dominating the PA yard region those few years, I mean, this is
Yeah.
and they've actually
stack
been
talent we have week to
they
week, no doubt.
hard to believe that they actually had a guy like Anthony Pucci on their team, and now they actually are better with Ben Stant. Is that possible?
Pucci 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, really, he's a young Pucci. He throws the same knuckleball. I mean, I think he's a better hitter than Pucci, to be honest. Pucci hits the ball a million miles an hour, hits it really far, but I think Stant can actually get to some different pitches.
I mean, I've never seen anyone like Pucci.
Pucci he's a unique swing. Let's
Yeah,
talk
I
about
know.
that. I mean, he hits the ball
He
400,000
gets the ball
feet.
before it moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like he does a lot of. I guess Ben does a lot of chasing. All right,
That's the only way you
I'm
get
going to
him out.
retract that statement. I'll retract that
That's the
statement.
only way you get guys like that.
They
out
stay
there.
good.
They can find a way to get guys out. There's
Ready
always a
to
way.
say which
Yeah.
player is better.
No, no doubt.
Of
Never.
course, why would you take a stance?
I haven't seen Pucci all year.
He's Belgian now.
Yeah. Okay. But Ben, I think Ben's MVP this season.
I'm not going to argue.
Give me a player that did more.
Not going to argue.
I tell you what's not
Besides
MVP,
Ant. And his competition's the team, his own
Yeah.
team, Gary and Ant.
They're battling each other for MVP.
I think so too.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, without Ben Stant,
Yeah,
they're
but without-
probably still really,
yeah,
really
but,
good.
But without Ant, who's getting the ball to Ben?
Honestly, no offense to Ant, he's a very good pitcher. His ERA was what? 3.5?
3-2.
There's a lot of guys that
also-
say under
61
a 3.5
innings.
year. When you're getting that kind of a cushion, I had a 2 ERA. I was 7-5. You know, it's very.
I had a losing record with a 2 ERA.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of guys with low ERAs who lose games. So I mean,
he knows
his
that when you
pitching
have-
ability as the number 2 is really just eat the innings. We're gonna, get the ball to Ben next game. You don't give up 10. They're gonna score runs.
When you have the luxury of scoring 7 to 8, 9 runs a game,
He's an unbelievable player. All 3 of
can-
them are top
you
10
can afford
players
to make
in
a
the
mistake
region,
or
no
two.
doubt.
I agree.
Yeah, the top 5 players, really.
but you can see it on the mound. Even when he doesn't want to lose, so even when they're up 8-0, he doesn't like giving up home runs.
You talking about earlier the way Anthony was getting really frustrated that like lost to the Dark Knights.
Yeah, that pissed me off too.
They're motivated. They want to win regionals. They want to win the Open.
Oh yeah, no, they're coming in hot.
They certainly want to win the Open.
Well, they haven't won yet, the Open. So
Yeah,
They
they're
won-
probably
the one time they were in the finals when they played with Whiffman and Pucci still, and they lost to the Throwbacks, I think, in the finals when they were like the Mercenaries from PA.
yeah. They made the finals.
They made the finals. They lost to the
they
Throwbacks. They
Oh,
played
that was-
Dallas.
that was
and
Maddie's first
Trotta,
championship?
Maddie.
Yeah.
Was it Maddie Dina? No, Maddie Troy.
Trotta.
Yeah,
No.
Fisher might have been there. Who knows? Some ridiculous
Leahy,
five-man team
maybe?
with random awesome mass play.
Leahy, Maddie.
Leahy, Maddie Troy, and
Foley?
Stevenson.
Dallas?
Or
Foley?
Boomer. No, I don't think it was.
I was trying to figure this out. It's
Dallas had to be,
not
Dallas
that.
had to be there. If they won, Dallas would.
I thought, why did I
was
think
a
Ryan
long-
Foley
I think
was
it was
on that?
Dallas and Leahy were doing all the pitching, and then Maddie was like the third, and they had like Troy and Trotta, or Troy and Fisher, and Trotta was just running the event.
I guess that
just
makes sense. Yeah.
the owner.
Yeah.
He
do
takes,
we know what
takes
year that
credit,
was?
but doesn't take like what?
What year was that?
I want to say like 2013,
Something like that,
2014.
yeah. Something like that. We beat the Mercenaries.
It was
in
one of the
game.
first years in Staten Island because we still had like
was
the league teams. They still had the PA
2013.
region.
So it was 2013, because we beat them in game one.
Okay.
Because Whitman pitched for some reason.
Sure,
Don't know
sure.
why. Yeah. Still, I don't know.
Led to the downfall of Whiffman.
Well, there's been a lot of those moments.
I was trying to get him down to yard earlier in the year, but
Yeah, he's not going to play.
he's like, oh, it's so much. Whatever.
Low-pash guy.
All I have to say for Whiffman is Chris Bayo.
Oh my God! Stop it.
Thanks for nothing, guy.
Chris Bayo.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Whitman Senior yelled at
Oh,
you.
Whiffman dad yelling at me because
Hey,
I
the
didn't
Whiff dad.
do something I wasn't asked.
We're
to do.
getting off topic.
Yeah, all right. Let's wrap
Well,
this
we'll say
up.
we're wrapping up. We're actually coming up on about an hour here, so really a lot of
gonna be
wiffle ball
20
talk.
minutes.
Yeah, well,
Hey, we got banter. That's what the guys want.
that's what
Maybe
we
they
want.
don't. Maybe they're totally
Well,
disinterested.
we'll see
So
how
we're
many
not taking
views we
callers?
have.
No.
No, we'll take callers another
I'm
time.
just curious. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I don't think
Well, I think
they
we're-
may have called 10 minutes ago or
Let's-
10 minutes into it, but not an hour into it.
Let's wrap it up. Let's just finish with a couple of formatting issues so everyone's aware. And then I think we're looking into possibly another show before the Open, which will include some of those details.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, again, we want to thank Long Island Podcast Studios, for having us here today. Joe Buscarino
Thank you.
behind the
Absolutely.
board.
Thanks, Joe.
you.
Really
man.
great job having us. So yeah, just to review. So Sunday's regionals, we'll have a 9 a.m. first pitch. This top 12 tournament, the top 12 bracket that we've been breaking down. The first round will be a 7-inning Golden game. The round of 8, the quarterfinals, will also be a 7-inning Golden game. The semifinals, final 4, will be a 9-inning Golden game. And the championship will be a best of 3 series, each game being 4 innings.
Max innings in the 9-inning game.
5.
5.
Max,
Yep.
and the 7 is
Is
4.
Yep.
So nobody should be pitching more than 4 or 5 innings a game unless it's an extra innings.
Yes.
What
and
about re-entry for the starting pitcher?
no reentry
No
until
re-entry.
the extra innings, which if the game is going into extra innings, the pitcher who finished the last regulation inning, whether it be the 7th or the 9th, must start the first extra inning and pitch to 3 batters before you can switch pitchers again. And there would be, I would say that there's no reentry after that. From that, if that
You
second
can
pitcher,
re-enter one more pitcher.
if you start the extra inning because you finished the game, once you finally come out and bring in, say, your ace back in the 12th inning, that 2 pitcher can't come back in. So you can't take that ace out again without using a 3rd pitcher. I mean, that's talking some
Well, I don't know if
marathon
we have to see what we have written down as the actual rule, but we do believe we have something.
Normally, there's not some sort of re-entry. The only re-entry is bringing in the same first pitcher in extra innings.
I'm
once
sure
you-
if a team was in some 20-inning marathon, we could figure something out.
Yeah, we usually do.
Yeah,
Like,
as the
that-
base, I would just like them just so we cover all the
Yeah, 'cause
bases.
that-
like,
that-
would you limit the re-entry amount of innings? Like,
No, because
No, 'cause
you
that's
know
the-
it's
the one
it's
to bring
the
the ace
season
back in,
right
he can
there.
just finish the game, doesn't matter.
The strategy there is to get your 2 pitcher, whoever's pitching, through 3 batters, so that you can bring the other guy in.
So
You,
essentially,
you also don't want somebody pitching 100 innings. It's hot out there. It's just unnecessary.
I cut out. Okay,
That's fine.
All right, so we'll just wrap it up on TV. So yeah, so I guess to your point, it'd be like if 10 runners in a game and Stan pitches 3 innings, Stan pitches the first 4, then Anthony pitches the next 3. Anthony would then pitch the 8th inning, and then Stan will come in for the 9th.
9,
the rest.
10,
Yeah.
11, etc.
You need to brush up on the 10-run rule so everybody knows. the actual rule.
That's not. That's a
state
personal.
of-
That's
state
a
of
personal
mind-
attack to me.
Not you. I mean, we need to brush
Is
up
there
on
a
it in
10
general.
run
State of mind
Is there a
playing,
is there a
right?
10-run rule in the playoffs?
In playoffs.
I don't think there should be.
I don't think we've ever had one.
I don't think we've
agree.
ever had run rules in golden games because we've only used them in elimination situations.
If somebody's down 18-0,
I'd consider it as something after 5
I
innings.
think first to 20 is still a rule, even in a
Yeah,
7 or 9
I thought so
game.
too.
Yeah, I would be okay with first to 20, but if you're down 11-0 in the third inning and I still got
No.
4 more innings,
Yeah,
Yeah,
out of
that's
the
why I
4
think
innings.
maybe after the 5th inning it could be a 10-run rule.
Not even.
But I agree. It's playoffs.
how many times have we seen a team eliminate an 11-run deficit at the lot?
Let the team forfeit, walk off the field. That's
agree.
pretty much all you could do with that.
The Dark
point,
Knights
you know?
overcame a 6-0 or 7-1 just last event. In the bottom of the 4th, we came back from a 6-0 in the third inning.
PLC
So,
scored 8 runs off us in the last inning.
Yeah.
We were up 9-1.
We were down,
9-0.
we were
One
down
thing
7
about-
nothing.
It
The 10
happens.
run rules scored
Yeah.
5 in the
Yeah,
last
that's
inning.
true.
The one thing about Yard is that it could spiral out of control very quickly with singles and doubles.
And I don't even want to commit to first to 20 because if there's a 9-inning semifinal game between like the enemy and Hammerheads or something, and we're just clubbing each other, and who knows? Maybe the game
I'd
could
be
be
okay
30,
with
25.
I'd be okay with
Hell no.
win by 20. That'd be fine.
Win by
Yeah, win by 20.
20 run
Win by
rule.
20.
10 run rule
Final
would
score
change their team.
38-19.
Give everyone the rundown on. No, there is no 10-run. We did this already.
That's what we just said.
Yeah, no 10-run rule. Right. In the playoffs.
I agree. All right, so for Phil Fresiello, Anthony Caputo, Rob Longiaru, Anthony Diori, this has been your first ever Golden Stick New York Regional Playoff podcast. And any questions, you can shoot us an email at nygswl@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Golden Stick Whiff, on Facebook as well, Golden Stick. And you can look for our beautiful faces online. I'm not going to give you the information because I don't trust you. All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck to all.